Okay, so talking about UPS power data centers today, but I guess sustainability is probably the biggest single driver of the data center space at the moment, I'm guessing. And it might be a good idea if you could give us some sort of idea of where power, I know it's quite an open-ended sort of question, but give us some idea of where the power sits within that sustainability debate.
Yeah, absolutely. It's a really interesting question. Sustainability is certainly the most talked about topic that we hear about at the moment in the data center industry, and it's been driven both from an operator level and from a customer level. It sits at the C-suite now in terms of the management team that run these data centers, and the research that we've seen shows that the customer base who are buying in co-location and multi-tenant data centers want sustainability as part of it. But power in itself is a really broad subject, and there's three things in my mind that you've got to consider. Firstly is resilience. This is the essential bit. That's what a data center is all about. Are the applications that you're protecting and are what you're deploying in terms of UPS right to meet your demands and safeguard your infrastructure against downtime? Is it energy efficient? Is it a circular product? Does it align with your overall sustainability strategy? Secondly is really around safety. Do you have an intelligent system that's driven by data and able to drive decisions based on that data that allows you to make less manual interventions and protect the safety of your employees? And then the third point in my mind is really around how your facility or your organization is powered. Renewable energies, where you get electricity or energy or power from can come from so many different vectors now, whether it's renewables, from a power station, from on-site generation, whatever it might be. And where does that sit then within your sustainability strategy? So power is a much broader topic, and it's a difficult one to answer and align with sustainability in a lot of cases.
And in terms of the sort of data center industry's got a reputation built on resilience and reliability, and I think you alluded to in that answer that maybe it doesn't always coincide with sustainability, or at least you have to be careful to keep all those things aligned. So how does Schneider help people with that sort of reliability and resilience, bearing in mind this drive for sustainability?
It's a tough balance in act. We call it a paradox, but basically that balance between sustainability and resilience, it's not insurmountable, is my view around it. That there's a strong belief across Schneider Electric, myself included here, is that data centers of the future have to be not just resilient and adaptive, but sustainable and efficient to meet everyone's needs and the requirements of the industry, our customer base, but also the expectations of the world we live in. To be resilient means you've got to reduce your vulnerability and the risk of unplanned downtime across your business. You've got to have an adaptive system, infrastructure, and technology across that allows you to future-proof your infrastructure and your building for the needs of the future and what's going to happen in the future. Sustainability for me is much more around business responsibility. How do you meet those requirements around resilience and adaptiveness without compromising your future? And then the efficient aspect of it is there's a business aspect that goes with this as well, around optimizing costs, the speed of deployment, the capital that you invest, really for return on that investment. We as a business, Schneider Electric, work with our customers across the board really to look end to end of what the building, what their infrastructure needs to look like. So are you designing and building a data center based on, with sustainability and efficiency in mind? Are you deploying the right products, the right systems into that building that allow you to drive sustainability through your operational activities, not operational expenditure? And then so much of this is driven around data. and not so much the data that you're hosting, but the data that you can extract out of your building to make intelligent decisions. So next generation DSIM is a huge factor in this, extracting that information and making the right decisions to drive sustainability whilst maintaining resilience.
Okay, and part of the reason for today's chat is that you've launched a new UPS. So excuse me, it's the Galaxy VL 200 to 500 kilowatt 3-phase UPS, if I got that right. So can you just talk us through some of the main features and benefits, and maybe the live swap would be one of the places to start?
Yeah, absolutely. It's a product we're hugely excited about, Phil, and thanks for asking about it, because this really gives us our end-to-end coverage across our Galaxy range now. We've had the Galaxy VS for a number of years, the Galaxy VX, the extra large applications, but this gives us a coverage now from 10 kVA all the way through the kVA ratings, and it's a end-to-end Galaxy offer now that we can bring to market. Galaxy VS is a really interesting product. It's a pioneer product really for the market. So you mentioned live swap. It's a touch safe design for employee protection and to support business continuity. So when we say touch safe design, what's that mean? Essentially through the entire process of adding or replacing power modules where the UPS is online, you're able to do that through this live swap feature. It enables this fast and simple insertion and replacement of power modules across the range while the UPS is online, whilst it's fully operational, and most importantly, without having to transfer the UPS into a maintenance bypass or onto battery operation. So it's unique in the market in that it's a patented technology, and live swap is essentially Schneider Electric's response to the national and local electrical safe at work practice regulations that are issued out there. It's a couple of other features that I'd just like to touch through with it. So it's modular, scalable across the 3-phase, enabling your infrastructure to grow as needed, going back to that adaptive and future-proofing your technology. It's ultra high density, the most compact UPS out there, with a footprint of only 0.8 meters squared. It's well suited for confined spaces. We know in the data center world, the floor space is at a premium. So the more you can give to data, the better. Coupled together with lithium-ion battery cabinets, you can achieve a total space saving of up to 70% of the space required for when you use VRLA batteries. And this optimized total cost of ownership that goes with it, the e-conversion mode that we offer with it, it allows you to increase the battery life of the system, recharge 2 or 3 times faster than what you would do with VRA solutions, and allows you to drive a more efficient and effective solution for your data center as a whole.
Okay, and obviously efficiency is a pretty key component of any sustainability plan. And I think you say this system is 99% efficient. So can you sort of flesh that out? That sounds great, but what does that actually mean, I suppose? Yeah.
So essentially what we're saying, Phil, is that the Galaxy range offers an operating efficiency up to 99% without sacrificing load protection. Our patented e-conversion mode is essentially Schneider Electric's improved version of eco modes for UPS. Because the converter is always running, it can kick in immediately when there's a power disruption, and this means there's no delay that can impact the load. It aligns with Class 1 of IEC 62040-3, so that's zero break during transfer during power outage, and that delivers a peace of mind during that power outage for the operator.
Okay, and the product is part of your green premium product range. That's an initiative I'm not familiar. Can you give us a bit of background, explain what that's all about?
Yeah, so green premium products provide really that detailed information on regulatory compliance, material content, the environmental impact, and the circulatory attributes of the product itself. It's a way of ourselves at Schneider Electric being transparent of how sustainable our products are and helping the end user understand what the embodied and embedded carbon footprint of that product is. Overall, the idea around it is we include product certifications that allows our customers work towards their sustainability ambitions.
Okay, and maybe just in sort of finishing, I know Schneider sort of, I guess its focus is helping customers around reliability, obviously cost effectiveness, efficiency, and reducing power consumption. Clearly, you go back to sustainability, I guess, again. Do you think those sort of objectives are going to be driving yourselves in the industry into the future? Or are there other things that people need to be aware of, or do you think those are the main sort of three objectives that you're going to continue to focus on?
Yeah, I think it's interesting, and when you start to talk about data centers more broadly, whether they're the multi-tenant data centers or the distributed IT side of the data center world, I think when you look at cost, reliability, efficiency, and sustainability, they sit very broadly across both of those areas. They're all key drivers in the industry for the customer base. The other aspect that's worth considering, though, is the speed to market and how we work with our customer base to allow them to deploy technology, and particularly around the data application that we've seen is such a huge driver over the last year or so. How quickly they can deploy those requirements. Products like GVL, our SF6 switchgear, which we've talked a lot about over the last year or so, our next generation DSIM, these are products that are really going to help the customer base start to overcome some of these challenges around cost, reliability, efficiencies, and sustainability. More broadly than that, though, I think Schneider Electric as an organisation are working with the customer base to help them to deploy green strategies. So we provide the products. The products all have where we can do have a green application, and we want them to drive more sustainability, be more connected, so you can make data-driven decisions. But beyond that, there's greener strategies that we can start to deploy in terms of renewables, working more collaboratively with the customers to make sure they meet their long-term sustainability goals.
And just sort of anecdotally, do you get more and more customers coming to you and saying, I want to address my sustainability, improve, my environmental footprint, whatever it is, or are they still coming to you and saying, I want to be more cost effective, more energy efficient, or is the whole sort of green agenda part of their engagement with you?
More and more now we're seeing the green agenda be part of the request for quotation process, and it's interesting that you may have seen that Schneider Electric were awarded the most sustainable organisation globally earlier on in the year. And when you've got that accolade associated with the business, there's a lot of questions that come to you from the customer base in terms of how have you been able to move yourself forward, and it's sharing those best practices, not just at a business level, but at a relationship partnership with the customer base to say this is things that you can do, help to move things forward beyond buying the right product, but also that greener strategy that I mentioned earlier.
And finally, I promise, it strikes me as well that obviously you're a vast global organization, works in lots of industries, lots of technologies. Is that a major advantage back to the sort of sustainability, environmental issues, because you can draw on the experience of other parts of the company and other industries and bring some of their ideas and technologies into the data? And does that happen?
Absolutely. It's not just shared best practice with the customer base, it's within our own organisation as well. So what works well, how do we then take that and deploy it in other areas of our own business, but in other areas with our customers too. So there's efficiencies that we see across the organisation, from manufacturing efficiencies through to just our operational efficiencies as well. So it is something that, you know, it's a continual learning process, sustainability. I think that the minute we stop and start to stand still around it is where it becomes a problem. We've got to keep challenging ourselves and moving ourselves forward. And just to give you a kind of an example around that, if you look at the ambition that we communicated to the world last year around being SF6 free by 2025, having a carbon neutral supply chain by 2050. These are hugely ambitious targets that allow us to challenge our business and challenge at country level what we're doing to keep moving forward and keep progressing ourselves forward.
Brilliant. Well, I've really enjoyed chatting to you today, Mark. So thanks very much for your time.
And you, Phil. Thank you very much.